what is your opinion now about the, say, the status of African unity? That's one part of the question. And the second one is, how about unity here in East Africa? Why don't we hear any more about the East African Federation?
May I answer first? I think the second part of the question is probably easier and perhaps could explain my answer to the first part of the question. I'm a great believer in unity. I believe in the old adage, unity is strength. I mean, this is truly, it is strength, and the human race would be much stronger if we were united. Would get rid of a lot of problems in the world if we could be united. And therefore, the human race must move towards unity. And continents like mine, a country like Tanzania must move towards greater unity, continents must move towards greater unity, and the human race must move towards unity. But the difficulties are not philosophical. The difficulties are merely political. It is one of those funny things in history that a state represents nothing. It's sometimes accident of history. But once it is there, it has more power sometimes than religion, than philosophy, than all sorts of things. And people become extremely, while they accept philosophically we must be united, once you have these lines on a map and you have created the thing you call the nation, it's a big problem. So Africa has, in a sense, missed the first opportunity, and this is the thing I said in East Africa, that in East Africa we should have become united before we became independent, before we became separate states. We should have done that. I did advocate that in 1960. I did even go as far as saying, realizing this, I went as far as saying Tanganyika must delay her independence, or ought to delay her independence, so that we all become united, and then we take our independence. Well, this did not happen. The reasons I understand, but I felt it was a great pity that we did not become united before we became independent. Hence now the difficulties. We now become separately independent, and as a result, since we are sovereign states, it's extremely difficult. Mm-hmm. And for the time being, quite frankly, we must forget the possibility of a political merger in East Africa. Things like economic cooperation, this we are maintaining with great difficulty, but I think we'll maintain. Now, this is true of Africa. If it is true on a small scale like East Africa, where we have a common language, Swahili and English, common traditions of government, because all of us have been under British rule, we have common services, we have no railways, all railways are East Africans, and all East African railways, and all sorts of things, common currency and all sorts of things running together. If this is difficult, obviously it's going to be much more difficult on the continental basis. And this is the context in which people must view the unity that is taking place in Africa, the movement towards unity in Africa. This is the way you've got to assess the importance of the OAU, not from the ideal of unity, but from the difficulties of moving towards there. And if you do accept this, then the organization of African unity is extremely significant, because here you are. I mean, it's the one continent where you find